Hi, everybody. It's me, Berkey. I am coming to you with not particularly great news, as the title of this video can obviously attest to. Unfortunately, after a lot of time, we have decided to basically end production at Dice Check. This is a ton of reasons overall, but I wanted to go through a lot of them for the most part, and well, that should explain why we haven't had any content out for quite a while. The reason we're ending Dice Check is a lot of things. When I took over as the person trying to run it, it seemed like it was something that I could really turn around, really kind of put some extra effort into it. You know, I loved Warhammer, all that kind of stuff, as well as Demeki, who was very excited to do the exact same thing, put all the time, effort, play some games, so on and so forth. But it turns out that I'm not particularly good at live production, for one, but also the cost of operating it has outweighed the cost of doing it for basically the entire time we had it running. We are in the red for every single month that we've done it for, and I knew it would be a little bit of a tough time to get it rolling. But I didn't expect it to be this difficult. I'm not the kind of person who enjoys relying on people for their free labor or anything. Even if we are in a struggling startup situation, I still want to be the person who pays their editors and compensates all the individual people who come up to play, especially people like Demeki and Garrett, who came up all the way from San Diego, which is about an hour and a half drive, to play Warhammer for 5 or so hours and then take that drive back home. It basically takes up their entire day. Not just that, but the fact that it is such a long period of time really eats into everything else. I found out that this is my tipping point. I had people asking, how am I going to be able to manage my own content as well as Adeptus Ridiculous and do Dice Check at the same time? And at first I thought that, oh, Dice Check's only like once a week, give or take. It's not too much, it's not too bad. And I was wrong. I was flat out wrong. This was the tipping point. This is when I finally had too much in my hands and it all started spilling out. Especially when you think about opportunity cost. The fact that I can go out and do any kind of dice check battle report myself with Garrett or Demeki or whoever, and it takes up a vast majority of the day in order to set up and prep and lose money to do so, it's not great, especially considering the things that I could be doing for my own projects in its stead. Before me, obviously, was Matt's Magikarp, and he was a certainly better in terms of when like live production and how to put this kind of thing together. I know we started getting a little bit better with time. You know, we added a background, changed the lighting, so on and so forth, but it was still not something I was particularly well versed in. So logistically, it just didn't really pan out particularly well. Financially, it didn't pan out particularly well either. And at the end, time wise, it just it just wasn't doing it. Um, After talking to a couple of other battle report channels, I found out that a BR channel, pretty much all of them, survive entirely by fan funding, like pretty much entirely, especially if there are multiple people that are engaged in it and do it as a full-time gig, especially if it's a full-time gig. Um, Fan funding is not something that I felt comfortable asking for. I know there are some of you who would be open to it, but we had a Patreon in the past, and that currently wouldn't even cover the cost of renting the space for the office, even back when. Plus, I find it very disingenuous to ask for fan funding when I myself already receive a good deal of it, either in my own streams or in Adeptus Ridiculous itself. To ask for more after all of that doesn't feel right. Even if it is a feasible thing, it doesn't feel correct. And honestly, I don't know if it would really make a difference. At some point, there were just too many logistical issues. I myself was already a very busy person, and like I said, this is the last thing I could carry before it all started tipping over. Demeki himself has recently had another kid and wants to spend a lot more time being there with them, which no one can fault, especially considering how long of a drive that is. Um, Combining all of that together with just busy life time frame, you know, travel trips, conventions, all that kind of extra stuff that has to happen, it's not something that I can continue doing as a side project, and arguably the same with everyone else. Things were different back when because myself, the Meki and Solon were just talent. You know, we would come in and then play a game and have a good time, and then sent off in the whole thing. But the reason Dice Check had its first initial falling like difficulty was because no one wanted to play anymore. Let me tell you, playing Warhammer like on in this particular situation, it murders your love for the hobby. Absolutely takes it out in the back and asks it to look at the rabbits. Like it is very bad how much it does make you like just hate the hobby. And for the most part, that's what happened to a lot of the prior gentlemen. Matt, John P, the rest of them, they just they didn't want to play anymore. And I can't really blame them. I didn't want to play anymore. And I love this game. When I finally made the decision to stop stop doing this for a dice check, my enjoyment in Warhammer grew again. Painting was supposed to be a leisure activity, something you enjoy, and I was dreading it because I was not painting for me; I was painting for the channel. All of these leisure things, these things that I was enjoying, became monetized, and I therefore lost my enjoyment in them. Adric is its own thing. You just talk about Warhammer, that kind of jazz. The playing of it was the problem, and when you had to get a certain amount of models out, get this kind of thing out. It really smashed your enjoyment of it. So it's a lot of different reasons. There's the opportunity cost issues, scheduling and logistical issues, the fact that just was making no money for the entire time that we were doing it, difficulty in live production, personal life stuff, myself and the rest of them, distance, and killing the love for the hobby. So it's a lot. It was a lot. I know that there probably are a couple of people that have their own ideas on how to help it, which is oh, fan funding, which I already mentioned, or like, oh, go to Tabletop Simulator, which I don't think is the same at all. Or just do like side videos, like data slate reviews and that kind of stuff. And I think for the most part, the reason we've decided to not go with any of those is because it's just not worth the time. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, and like I already said, I can't hold anymore. I personally cannot hold anymore, and not really a lot of us can either. So, hopefully that explanation makes some sense. It sucks. It sucks, man, to fail at something. I mean, it's humbling, and it is what it is, and that kind of stuff. But it really does suck. I really gave it a college try. Really thought I could turn this around into its own thing, but it was a learning experience more than anything. I realized that this is where I cap out when it comes to projects, things I need to do, etc. This is where my limit is. So, um, it blows it blows to fail at something, but I guess there's a little bit of resolution in knowing that it's my fault, which sounds weird. But like this is not on Demeki or Garrett or anyone. This is entirely on me. I bit off more than I could chew. I thought I could do this stuff and I couldn't. And you they put in a ton of amazing work, and it was really good of them for that. And it sucks that it is what it is, but here we are. As for everything else, if you are subbed on like a membership on YouTube, feel free to cancel it, that whole thing. We're not going to delete the channel or anything because it's there's old videos there. They're fun to watch. People like want to go back to watch them. So like it'll just be here still, obviously. But if you're a membership or something like that, you can go and cancel that. For Twitch, same kind of shtick. We might be giving that Twitch channel to Demeki to do painting streams, but we haven't quite decided that yet. So we'll figure that out in the in the near future. Um, but other than that, yeah, I mean, it was a good run. There's a lot of people out there I know who got into the playing the tabletop from Dice Check, and that's absolutely fucking awesome. And it's super great to hear. But sometimes this is just how things go. And well, that's where it ended up. But if you see any of us at like a tournament, local tournament, something fun like that, you are more than welcome to say hi. We'd love to talk to you. That whole thing. We'll still be around. We'll still be playing, talking about it. I'll probably make some videos on some Warhammer side stuff on my second channel personally, just because that's what I used to do before moving into Dice Check, like a tournament recap or something. But that'll be only rarely between all the other highlights. Except for the new data slate that came out today. I'll probably do a thing for that pretty soon. Um, but other than that, yeah. So didn't want to leave you all just kind of hanging. Um, there it is. Sucks a lot, but that's the world of business. That's the world of logistics. You win some, you lose some. Yeah, some business stuff pans out, some don't. It is how it is. Thank you all so much for all of your support that you gave us during this time frame, during the change. It was a struggle, but we gave it a shot, and yeah, thank you for your time and for listening. And hey, enjoy Warhammer. Enjoy. It's a hobby. Or it's a hobby. It's supposed to bring you joy and fun. So make sure it stays that way. If it's ever gnawing at you, then just put it down. Nothing wrong with it. All right. Thank you, everyone.